Rejoice StarCrafters, we have a balance patch. Oh, it's just a PTR balance patch, but it's a balance patch nonetheless. For the first time in over 2 years, we are receiving a balance update from Blizzard with the help of the community and StarCraft players, pro gamers, however you want to call it. Blizzard is implementing a new balance patch. Let me show you how this looks like. It's just a PTR, it's not the balance patch immediately, it will be tested, but these are going to be the changes, and I want to talk a little bit about the changes in this video. So the latest balance patch was on the 20th of August 2020, so almost 2 years ago we had our first, or I should say last balance update, and this is going to be the PTR patch for StarCraft 2. It's a good game, I swear, it's still a good game, you know? And Tara Adun, we are releasing a balance patch which was put together by our very own StarCraft 2 community over the past couple months. We have been working with various members of the community and tournament organizers to create a balance update of the game. We would like to recognize and acknowledge the members of the group for the upcoming changes you see below. So yeah, we've been talking a lot with Blizzard alongside with the pro gamers and the StarCraft 2 community members, and it turns out this is going to be the balance patch that we all want, we all agree on. And hopefully this will be the right patch to do. So the very first change we can see is change to the shield battery, starting energy reduced from 100 to 50 outside of the Nexus field. So the main reasoning was the proxy battery rushes, with either it would be with Cannon Rush or Void Race or whatever. We wanted to reduce the effectiveness of batteries that were put pretty much offensively, not defensively. And I think it's a good change. I don't think it's a very good strategy to have, and I feel like batteries offensively are still very strong, and defensively it should not matter that much. We will still need to figure out the exact Nexus range of that, but I would suppose it should be somewhat around the same range that is the super battery, so you would still have good batteries. If you would want to defend other expansions in a decent field, it should not matter that much. It's a great way to reduce the effectiveness of offensive batteries, I think. Second change is going to be to change to the Dark Templar. Now have almost a second attack delay after blink. So basically when they blink forward, blink anywhere, forward, backwards, to the side, whatever, they will not attack for almost an entire second. So they have like a delay in there, as it says in the patch note. The main reasoning was to change the Protoss versus Terran. It's been noted by the Terrans, and I think by the Protosses as well, that it's a bit too easy for the Protosses to go unnoticed with the Dark Templars as a cloaked unit. Blink in on the planetary, swipe it 2 times, 3 times, and then kill the planetary fortress, and probably even blink out, as the blink cooldown is not that long, if it's possible. So it's just to pretty much give the Terran a little bit more time to react, to start repairing the planetary fortress. It can also impact a little bit of PvP, as Dark Templars with blink are fairly common in there. But I think it's mostly going to be noticeable in a Protoss versus Terran matchup. We will see how this looks in game. It's quite a big change. We don't have this kind of mechanic in the game, where you cannot use the unit is not attacking after doing an action. So we'll need to keep a close eye on that. But I do think this is the right call. I think blink DTs can really change the entire course of the game in a second or two, somewhat similar to disruptors in PvT or PvP. So this will simply give us more time to react to the blink DTs. Under the change is Void Ray. Build time increased from 37 to 43, and mineral cost increased from 200 to 250 minerals. It's pretty much reverting the change that was done in the previous patch, where the build time was decreased from 43 to 37, and minerals was from 250 to 200. And I think is the right direction. I think Void Ray has been too much of a one good unit. Like, you can actually mass up Void Rays and Void Rays only. In PvP and PvZ especially, and I think that's a good change. We will see less of the 2 Stargate builds, possibly less of the Skytoss camping with, you know, or being super greedy with like 4 Void Rays. Basically, it will not necessarily delete Void Ray, but reduce its power, and it's going to be much harder to proxy with the Void Rays, with the Stargate, and combined with the ship battery. I think it's just a good change overall. I think Void Ray will still be a useful unit to secure an expansion from the 3rd base versus Zerg and be somewhat defensive in PvP. But it might actually impact PvP a lot more than we anticipate, because of the 1 gate expand maps with the ramp down, going down, right? It might change a bit. because we tend to do this 1 gate expand with a Void Ray as a defensive tool. So it's going to be a bit different, but I'm very eager to test it out. I think it's also the right change. I do fully agree with that. I think Void Rays have been too good overall in general as a unit, and this kind of nerf will put them in the right place in my opinion, hopefully. Another change is going to be the Queen can no longer transfuse off creep. It seems like a very simple change, but it's also somewhat game changing. That means no hatchery tech Queen walks versus in PvZ, Protoss versus Zerg. And it also feels like it's going to have a huge impact on the matchup, because we were using only Stargate builds pretty much. And Queen walks with Ravager and Lynx were super powerful versus Protoss. Now that these kind of openings are, well, they're still somewhat viable, right? They will be viable, but you cannot use Transfuse, and Transfuse was one of the best tools to Queen walk. Now it's going to be just basically pure anti-air, unless you can figure out how to have creep on your attack. This will basically create a different kind of mid game, and this is exactly what we wanted to have, a different kind of mid game for Protoss versus Zerg, and hopefully we will be able to transfer that into a better late game in Protoss versus Zerg. Maybe we can play some more ground toss. Maybe Zerg will figure out other timings, because if we're not going to be massing Void Rays as easily as before, maybe there will be other timings where Protoss can die, or maybe Protoss can be more greedy and play some ground army. So this is a cool change. Pretty much the biggest change, I think, of all, alongside the Dark Templar one. And we will need to keep on a close eye on that, and I think it will stay in the patches, but it's definitely game breaking, or game changing, I should say. And other two changes are not that significant. Neither is the third one. Is the Widowmine and Lurker Burrow basically increased slightly. It's like what, 33%, something like that, increase, which is significant enough to see it every time you see a Widowmine burrowed or Lurker burrowed and unburrowing. But in TVP, it's not going to have that much of an impact. You rarely see Widowmines with drilling claws on it. So hopefully this will be not that impactful for TVZ, because I feel like Widowmines are such a clutch unit in Terran versus Zerg, so we need to keep on a close eye on that as well. And the Lurkers, they've been too strong in both ZVP and ZVT, mostly in ZVT in my opinion. So this nerf is like a long time coming. It might not be enough to reduce the full effectiveness of the Lurker and how difficult it is to deal with them, but it's a start, and we will see. Maybe this will be enough, maybe not. And then the last change is going to be from Nidus Worm, increasing starting creep by 1 unit in each direction around the worm once it spawns. It was communicated to simply create a situation where the Nidus Worm pops out and the Queen is able to transfuse it immediately to save the Nidus. It's only purpose really. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just trying to keep up the possible save of the Nidus Worm. So my general opinion of this patch is that this is the patch in the right direction. It's not changing or not solving every single issue that there is in StarCraft. I think there are many issues, and it's a long discussion, but it's a good start. This is what we are struggling with right now. And we can start discussing what's next. Hopefully, what's next with more changes. We are keeping in touch with Blizzard and other pro gamers as well. So this will be hopefully more patches to come if we need one. Maybe this patch will be more impactful than we thought it's going to be. So I'm really looking forward to test these changes. Once again, this is just a PTR patch notes. This is not implemented into the game just yet. And we will be testing those out. Maybe we'll play some games. And yeah, once these changes are in the game, I'm really looking forward to see how the game is going to change entirely. So thanks for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts about these changes. Do you think they're impactful? Maybe not. And yeah, I'll see you guys in StarCraft. Let's go! One more patch, at least one more patch with StarCraft 2. I'm so excited, super excited.